Matthew. I'm just going to show my screen. Can everybody see it now? Matthew, can you see my screen?
Yeah, that's perfectly on. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, great, thanks. Okay, so it's a little bit later here in South Africa. We're actually 20 to 6 in the late afternoon. But yeah, Stefan and I have been responsible for teaching this very large statistics course online. So we'd like to share with you a few of our experiences in using our Sakai platform as a means of teaching statistics. Okay, firstly, we call our Sakai platform Vula, which is an isiXhosa term for open, which seems appropriate for this piece of software. And this is a screenshot from our homepage for our site. Okay, so teaching statistics to 1,400 students is quite an undertaking. So I'm in this talk going to give you a little bit of background about our students and the aims of the course, and how we went about developing our course material, our online course material, and tell you how we've structured this course, because it's a blend of face-to-face learning as well as online learning. And then I'd like to take you through our Vula site and show you some of the features that we've employed. I'll talk about how we do communication on Vula between all the various players on this course, and how we use Vula for assessment. A little bit about incentivization of students, and then looking at evaluating whether this online course has worked, so to speak, and perhaps leave you with a few of our ongoing challenges. So our students, this is an introductory first-year statistics course. It is very large, so we have 1,400 at one go in one semester, but through the year we put some 2,000 students through this course. And they come from diverse backgrounds, and particularly diverse in their levels of preparedness for tertiary study and their proficiency in English. So these remain challenges for us, which in many ways the online environment provides opportunities to find solutions. The statistics course is largely a service course, so it has its own challenges in that the students aren't motivated to study this as a major course. Most of our students come from a commerce background, from the commerce faculty. And before we put this course online, we used to have 5 different lecture slots daily. So 5 different lecturers going out there giving the same lecture to the students, which of course presented a number of quality control issues across years and within particular years. So who are the different players that we have to coordinate on this course? As I've mentioned, there's some 1,400 students. We have a group of 25 to 30 tutors. We have some 5 lecturers, plus a course coordinator and a course administrator. Just a little background why we changed to the online learning environment. All the usual reasons: students can pace themselves better, and they can repeat sections as they need to and at the pace they need to. For our discipline, this is particularly useful as it has a number of its own challenges. The vocabulary that's used, we use a lot of familiar English words, but they have particular meanings, and it's quite nice to be able to pin those down crisply with written definitions. It's also a new way of thinking, so even if students are on top of mathematics, they find statistics quite subtly different. The online environment has allowed us to do improved quality assurance of lecture content, so allowing for more consistencies within a year across different lecture streams and across years. It's also allowed our lecturers to devote their time to applying the concepts, helping students interpret them, and consolidating the concepts. So we put the syllabus online and let the students grapple with this first, stepping them through it using videos, readings, quizzes, and then we have face-to-face sessions for application. We use our student tutors differently now as well. They are more They have more of a mentorship role in that they encourage and monitor closely the students in their group to see that they are keeping up with the online work. The online syllabus allows us to translate content. We haven't actually got there yet, but it's at least now a possibility for us to provide for translated material, which is particularly useful in our multilingual context. It's reduced venue pressure and the associated logistical problems with such a large course. But the most important reason for going online was that it moves students from passive recipients of information to active learners. Okay, so with this course, we aim to give students a functional sense of statistics. So we introduce them to statistical modeling, we look at some exploratory data analysis, and we, all through those, make use of basic spreadsheets to do our statistical analysis, as well as to convey concepts in statistics. So how did we set about setting up our online course? We used a professional outside company to help us create the course videos. So we scripted the videos and acted in them. But we got professional videographers to help with the design and the actual creation of the videos. These videos have a slightly different feature in that they use Hapyak, which is an interactive video tool, which has allowed us to create chapters in our videos and also embed interactive quizzes in them, and also allows the students to navigate quite easily through different sections of the videos. All our videos have a theme which runs through them, or runs through the examples that we use, and that theme is around gaming, two youngsters challenging each other to games of dice and using statistics to decide who's the winner. So all our videos, quizzes, and readings are embedded into lessons on Vula and are downloadable. And the quizzes we use to check that the students will allow the students to do self-checks on their understanding and ensure that they stay up to date with the schedule of the course. So this is an infographic of how the course works, because it's this interleaving of the online course with the face-to-face sessions as well. So down the left-hand side, that scale shows time in weeks. And the light blue boxes there are the syllabus, online syllabus, divided into modules. And each module is divided into work units, which are kind of sub-modules. So you'll see that module 1, which is probability, extends over 2 weeks and comprises of 5 videos. And next to it, that long light green bubble there with a lecturer in it is indicating an online forum where there's the lecturer available to answer questions online. And then in parallel to that, in the dark green boxes, we have face-to-face workshops where just for 2 sessions a week, the lecturer and a selection of tutors help the students apply the concepts that they've actually engaged in online already. The students also have small TUT groups with the tutors, so around about 20 to 25 students in a group. And there's a daily computer lab session helping students work mainly through spreadsheets. Right, and this is the schedule of the course. So we give the students this very clear template of what they should be doing each day. So on the first day, they should watch a video, and they should do the quiz straight away. On the second day, they watch the second video, do the second quiz. The next day, the Wednesday, they read the course notes, excuse me, and take the associated quiz. On the Thursday, they watch the third video, and so on. So you'll see that there's a quiz associated with each element of the course, be it a video or a reading. By the end of the week, they need to submit an assignment covering actually not that week's work, but covering the previous week's work. Because what happens is they engage with material online for a whole week, and then the following week they have face-to-face sessions on that material. So they've had a bit of time to digest it, and then meet with a lecturer and or tutors, and then they submit the assignment at the end of the following week. So the assignments and the quizzes are all submitted online. Okay, I'm going to take you now to our Sakai site, our Vula. And that's our homepage. And on the homepage, we just keep changing the picture or the graphic, which they might see from time to time. It also shows the latest announcements and what's happening in the chat room, which is useful to keep an eye on at times. I'm going to go to course modules, which is the lessons tool. And our syllabus is laid out there in terms of the 5 modules which we cover in this 12-week course. Each of those modules is only released as it becomes, at the time at which the students are meant to start working on that particular module. So they won't get confronted with the entire syllabus in one go. I'm just going to take you to the 4th module, which is probability distributions, and that's divided up into 4 different work units. And I'll take you into the first of those. And each of the work units has the same sort of generic structure. So it'll say at the top there are 4 steps in this work unit, and you should complete it at this time. And you can download the assignment now, which you need to hand in at the end of the week. So step 1 would be to watch the video. Step 2 would be to take the quiz, which is embedded on this lessons page. And step 3 is to read the course notes. Step 4, take the quiz on those notes, and so on. I'm just going to show you this video, and I don't think you're going to be able to hear the sound, but it's not particularly important for this video that you hear the sound. So I'm just going to take you through. I'm just going to turn the sound down so that I'm not overwhelmed by it. Okay, so the chaptering that I was talking about is here. So the student can jump to the introduction to this particular distribution or the distribution itself, and it'll jump to that point in the video. I'm actually just going to jump a little bit ahead. So what I want to show you here is the embedded quiz, which keeps the students sort of interacting with the video as they're watching it. So this little screen pops up to say, is this, it checks with them that they've been listening to what's just been covered. So is the function defined for all values of yes, of x, and they're meant to put a yes there. And I'm just going to put a wrong answer for the next one and say yes, next, no. And then you submit this little quiz and it comes back to review their answers. So they got the first question right, but the second one wrong. They can either ask to show the answer or ask for a retry and continue from there. And then they would change that and submit. Okay, so that's just something for a little feature we embedded into our videos. The other thing perhaps to show you is the settings for the quizzes that we've embedded. We've made the quizzes required because they're a requirement that the student complete all these quizzes before they're allowed to write the exam at the end. And they're required to receive 9 out of 10 points for each quiz. They can take it as many times as they like. and they have right up until the end of the course to get the required mark, but it does force them to revisit that work until they've at least attempted to understand it. Okay, so those are our course modules. You'll also see at the bottom of this course modules page, we've got a link to questions for your tutor. They can click on to that button there, and the idea is that they about something they didn't understand on the lessons page. Now they won't get confronted with all of these tutorial groups. They will just get the tutorial group that they're actually signed up into. So they won't get overwhelmed by these many groups. Okay, I'm going to move on now to weekly material. So this is also a lessons page, but it's all the material that they're going to need for assignments, tutorials, workshops, and exam and test revision gets placed here. Okay, we've also got an additional page, a sub-page on this lessons tool with additional video explanations that we can pop there on questions which arise frequently that show students are struggling with a particular concept. Okay, so the other tool that I want to talk briefly about is tests and quizzes. We use the tests and quizzes extensively. The quizzes, as I say, they can take as many times as they like, and they are just to consolidate concepts as they're going through the syllabus. But then we have 3 proctored tests that run each semester, and I'm just going to scroll down. As you can see, there's an awful lot of material here. To our first test. Because of the vast number of students we have to book out all the labs on campus and then schedule tests to run in succession. So we have a total of 13 different tests running across campus, either at the same time or in consecutive sessions. And we have found that this tool is fantastic. I'm just going to look at settings for just improving the whole testing process. So all our students are divided into different groups, and we can ensure that only the group who are signed up, say, for test 1A and Scilab D, are able to write the test. Also, thanks to the functionality here, apart from setting the start and the end times and the time limit, we're also able to ensure that students don't sneak off and write the exam from another computer by specifying the IP addresses of the computers which allow them to take the test at. So that, along with the fact that we randomize the order of the questions that the students see and the order of the answers for the multiple choice questions, minimizes the chance of cheating in the exams, which unfortunately is quite an issue. All right, so that's tests and quizzes. Gradebook also is a fantastic tool. Students get feedback timelessly. Their marks are there for them to check and to see that everything's been recorded the way we've said it has been. Yeah, so we really find that very useful. It takes a little bit of a while to open up. Okay, I wonder I might actually leave it. That's considering the time. I'm actually going to move on because the one thing I did want to show you was the sign-ups tool, where the students sign up for different tutorial groups and for different test groups. So we use this tool extensively to schedule our students and to get them going where we want them to go at the time they should go. and we have found it incredibly useful, but it would be nice if it was slightly more flexible. The headings, for example, of these sections are fixed, and it would be incredibly nice if we could change them to have names that kind of made sense. So, for example, if we were getting them to sign up for tests or for labs, it would make much more sense than having to call them courses, practicals, tutorials, and so on. Okay, but that's the sign-up tool. The other two things which we have are questions for your lecturer and questions. So the questions for your lecturer tool, we have lecturers assigned to answering online questions, and as the questions come in, we categorize them into these different categories. But you can see by the end of the semester, which is where we are now, there's just quite a hodgepodge of different categories, which it would be really nice if we had a different way of arranging those and making them much more coherent. And yeah, if we could change them as we go down, as the questions come in, make the whole structure more coherent and easier to navigate. The search tool is very good here, but yeah, it doesn't look nice when you could confront it with all these different categories. Okay, so yeah, the questions for your tutor, the student, as I said, only has access to their own tutorial group, and the tutor in charge manages those questions. Okay, I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint slides. All right, so just a little bit about the communication. I've been through the forums. There's a tutor forum and a lecturer forum, and there's an admin forum as well. That we had to be slightly creative about setting up on our Vula site because we wanted to have two Q&A forums. We weren't able to have that. We had to link our students to another site and use the Q&A on that site. But it happens quite seamlessly, and they're generally not aware of that. So assessment happens through the quizzes, which they need to complete each week, the weekly assignments, the weekly tutorial tests, where the questions are taken from the quiz questions, 3 written online tests, and a final exam. In terms of online assessment, the quizzes are a fantastic help to us and to the students, I think, because they keep them working, and it's quite a volume of quizzes they need to get through. But we attribute our increase in marks largely to the fact that the students really have to slog through quite a lot of work. The weekly assignments have the advantages of firm deadlines, so one doesn't get squeezed for changes to those deadlines or people rushing in 5 minutes late with a piece of paper. It also has the advantage of quick feedback, which is wonderful for the students. The fact that we can write our tests online using Vula is wonderful. Not only is it paperless, but the randomization that it allows minimizes the possibility of cheating. The quick feedback is really beneficial for students. And we found that there are minimal, if any, marking problems. And if one does encounter a problem, it's so easy to remark using Vula. We can also easily accommodate different needs. So students who qualify for extra time or who possibly started late, one can still give them the allotted 90 minutes or whatever. Okay, in terms of incentivization, we try and make all the activities count in some way. So even if it's a small number of marks that they get, we try and make them count. And the completion of the quizzes is a requirement, although the marks don't themselves contribute towards their class record. We started a system of bonus points to try and incentivize students to finish their quizzes on time or early, and we found that really works well. And we're looking to try and incorporate more elements of gamification to try and get the students motivated to do well. What we really need, though, is a progress bar. That's something we really find we miss. So students can't at a glance see what they have done and what they still need to do. Okay, a quick look at what we think have been fantastic results. I'll just focus you on the fact that in the first column it goes from 2010 to 2014, which is when we first introduced this online course. The average mark in this course went up sort of from the 50s to 65, and the pass rate went up from 55, hovering around 60, 70, up to 83%. And we take that largely to the fact that the hand-in rate on the online system is just so much better than it ever was on paper with paper hand-ins. And I'm not quite sure what that's about, but I think part of it is about that fantastic feedback they get. Okay, so what are the challenges? We'd, as I mentioned, like to be able to get better organization of the question categories in Q&A. We'd definitely love to have a progress bar, and we'd like the sign-ups tool to be more flexible so that you can, for example, close some sections and not others, and edit the names of sections. And I think I'm just about out of time, so I'll leave you with a photograph of our rather beautiful campus.
Wonderful. Thank you, Leanne, and thank you, Stefan, so much for this really outstanding presentation. Unfortunately, we are right at the time limit, and there are other webinars that are starting in 10 minutes. So maybe we'll just take one question, and then if you have additional questions, please feel free to contact Leanne or contact Stefan directly. They have very generously offered to take questions and enter into dialogue with people via email, so please feel free to do that. Dave did ask if the university has other courses that are just as large, and he also wondered if the HAPYAC video assessments that you all used and demonstrated connect to the gradebook.
Yeah, that's a good question. The HAPYAC interactive video quizzes don't connect to Gradebook, and it would be nice to have that facility. So we thought it was a great feature to keep them active while they're watching videos, but it would be super if we could connect it to Gradebook. It doesn't at this stage. Sorry, was there another part of that question that I missed?
The other part was whether you guys
Yeah, the question was whether there are other courses on our campus that and yes,
Yeah.
there has been some success, especially in the accounting faculty, doing something similar, also Sakai-based, and especially in terms of translating the material, has proven to be very beneficial to the students in such a multilingual society. And they've also been applauded for their successes.
Yeah, thanks, Stefan, for jumping in there.
That's wonderful. Thank you guys again so much for a very outstanding and very comprehensive presentation. And again, if anyone has any questions and would like to learn more about how Leanne and Stefan have been using lessons and using the tools in Sakai to create these large statistics courses, please feel free to contact them directly. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording now. Thanks again, everyone, for taking the time to join us, and we hope to see you at some more webinars later today. Thanks again.
Great. Thanks, Matthew.